What is going on, everybody? I am back today because it is Black History Month, and I think it is so important when there are holidays or months that are celebrating a group of people, especially a marginalized group of people or people of color, to really take some time to step back and celebrate those voices in cinema. Especially like someone like me, I spend my time reviewing films and pushing films. And if you've been following me for a while, you know when I talk on my channel, there's something so important about hearing stories from all different backgrounds, from people of different cultures, from people who are raised differently than the way that you're raised, because it gives you the opportunity to learn. And I think it's so important as people that we take time to learn from others that are different than us. And it's so hard because when you look at, everything that the Black community has been through and how many struggles they've been through and all the things that they've gone through just to gain equality, even in a country that is still incredibly falling short when it comes to treating people equally and loving all people the same, that when it comes to cinema, even sitting down and making up a list today, it's always kind of disheartening to me how few films there are from Black filmmakers or with predominantly Black casts, even in 2024, when we think that we'd be way ahead of the curve. You just want more of those types of movies. And so today I compiled a list for Black History Month to talk about some movies that are either directed by Black directors or that have predominantly Black casts or that are shining a light on Black culture. I thought it would be fun today to talk about some of those movies, bring some films to your attention that maybe you haven't seen before, and I'm looking forward to discussing some of them with you today. So first up on my list is going to be the film Rafiki. This is a beautiful love story that takes place in Kenya between two women in a place where LGBTQ relationships are not accepted. You can get in serious trouble and even arrested for presenting in an LGBTQ relationship. And what I love so much about this movie is that it encapsulates the difficulty of trying to be in a relationship in an area like this that doesn't even allow you to be in that relationship. But amidst, showing the difficulty and the struggle of the relationship, it perfectly encapsulates the beautiful romantic moments between these characters and the tender, heartfelt moments. And I love that because there are a lot of films from Black creators that show the struggles that Black people have all over the place, wherever the films are from. And I think Rafiki is a perfect example of being able to capture that struggle while also showcasing the beauty in the moment of the relationship. Our two lead performers in this film are absolutely fantastic. I think they both do an incredible job. I love the color palette of this film. There's so many like bright neon colors and moments that really just work perfectly to accompany the mood and the tone of the film. And it's just a really unique movie. I caught this on the Criterion channel while I was streaming and I absolutely loved it. And I feel like not a lot of people talk about it, and it's a movie I would 100% recommend checking out. It's fantastic. Up next, I have to talk about Barry Jenkins, and I'm actually going to talk about If Beale Street Could Talk. A lot of people talk about Moonlight, which I absolutely love, but If Beale Street Could Talk is one of my favorite movies of all time. This is a movie I mention quite frequently on my channel about a couple who the man is wrongfully arrested because he is racially profiled and put in jail for a crime that he did not commit. And it's about them trying to keep their relationship alive amidst this horrible circumstance. And it is one of the most realistic portrayals of romantic love I've ever seen in a movie. The way that Barry Jenkins shoots romantic scenes between our lead characters, the colors that he uses, and the musical choices, they just feel so hyper realistic. You get lost in it to a point where you forget that you're watching a movie. It feels like you're really watching real people. And that is the biggest compliment I can pay a director. I love Barry Jenkins. I think the way that he captures relationships, not only in this, but in Moonlight, are so authentic and realistic. And it doesn't feel Hollywood. It feels very much like a lived experience. And that's what I love so much about this movie. The performances from top to bottom are absolutely incredible. The cinematography is is amazing. The musical choices in the movie are absolutely beautiful, and it's a film I think about all the time. Up next is going to be the film Dope. I absolutely love this movie. This is about a young kid who's trying to get through school. He's trying to pass his SATs, and he's got this tight-knit group of friends at the school he goes to, and through this set of circumstances, he finds a way to try to make money, to raise money for his school that could be illegal through this group of people that he meets, while at the same time he's in this band making music. And it's really just a beautiful, hilarious coming of age story that really showcases a lot of different struggles and issues that people go through when it comes to just, you know, trying to make it and try to go to school and try to be the best that you can regardless of the circumstances that you're put in. It does a really great job at showcasing wealth disparity in this very specific area. I really like how geek culture is incorporated in it, especially the musical choices are really unique. The performances from top to bottom are fantastic. And it's such just a unique movie that I remember the first time I watched it, I was just completely enamored from start to finish. And I've watched it multiple times since my initial viewing, and I just grow to love it more every time I revisit it. And it's a movie that I recommend to virtually everyone because I feel like there's something in it for everyone. Up next is the Boots Riley film, Sorry to Bother You. Lakeith Stanfield is one of my favorite actors, and he delivers an incredible performance in this. This is one of the most strange, subversive, surreal films I've watched in the past 10 years. Boots Riley does an amazing job on the commentary in the movie. There's a lot on capitalist, consumerist culture in this movie, and I love the way that he presents it. He really introduces a numerous amount of topics in the film that just leave your brain going for long after the movie is over. I don't think anyone would have expected where the third act of this movie goes. Stephen Yeun is in this film, and he does a really fantastic job. I couldn't believe that this was Boots Riley's directorial debut just because of how absolutely amazing the movie is. And it's one that I think about quite often, and I always look forward to revisiting it whenever I get time to. Up next is the film The Last Black Man in San Francisco. This was produced by A24. This is one of my favorite films in A24's catalog. I've talked about this movie a numerous amount of times on my YouTube and my TikTok. It is a movie about gentrification, and it's done in such a beautiful and realistic way. There's some truly hilarious moments in this movie, and there are some truly heartbreaking and gut-wrenching moments. The performances from top to bottom are absolutely outstanding. The cinematography is mesmerizing. The score to the film is beautiful. It's one I listen to on a regular basis. I feel like it accompanies the movie and really creates a unique mood and tone. And I just love the film a lot. I think it poses a lot of really interesting questions, and every single question that it presents, whether it be the topic on gentrification, whether it's looking at toxic masculinity in the Black community, just every single thing that's examined in the film is done with such care in a way that feels like it's paying attention to the subject and really giving the audience time to think about it. And I love movies like that, and it's a film I recommend to everyone, especially if you're a fan of A24, because it's one of the best in their catalog. Up next, I'm wearing my Nope shirt today, but I'm going to mention Jordan Peele's Get Out. I absolutely love Get Out. It's one of the most significant movies in our history. I feel like it really sparked a movement where you have this movie directed by a Black man with a predominantly Black cast that is using horror to convey a really powerful social message while also just being a great horror movie that also incorporates unique moments of comedy in it. Jordan Peele came out of having this amazing comedic career as a stand-up comedian, obviously Key and Peele, his stint he did on Mad TV, and jumps into the horror world and just shows how much passion and love he has for the genre. And he accomplishes so much in this movie. And I just feel like it's one of the most unique horror films ever made. And obviously he's gone on to make Us and Nope, which I love elements to both of those films. I just think that he It's such a talented filmmaker, and this is a movie that I have to mention in this video because it is one of my favorite films of all time. Up next is a film from last year I loved called Rye Lane. This is a romantic comedy that is so beautifully shot. There are elements of it that are very reminiscent of Wes Anderson, just in kind of the dark comedic delivery. And it's just a fun romance film that really captures a unique moment where these two people meet each other in a time where they're both kind of lonely and just looking for some form of companionship. One has just gone through a really horrible breakup, and it's just such a fun movie. I had a smile on my face from the moment it started until the moment it ended, and it's a movie I've recommended to virtually everyone that came out last year, and I want more people to see it because it's great. I have to mention Steve McQueen's 12 Years a Slave. This movie is incredible. It's a very difficult watch when you talk about films about slavery. This movie encapsulates the horrors of slavery in a way that is so hyper realistic and horrifying. The performances in this are amazing. They're transformative. You almost forget you're watching a movie. It just feels like so documentary in a way that is horrifying. And to see a man who was living free in the North stripped from his family and forced into slavery is just such a terrible story. And it's horrible that this would happen to a human being. And obviously, movies about slavery are always difficult to watch, but Steve McQueen tells this in a way that is just so realistic and showcases the horrors that so many people had to go through in this time period. And I think movies like this are incredibly important, and people need to watch them despite how difficult they are to watch. It is truly just one of the best films ever made. I recommend everyone see it at least once. And then last up, I wanted to mention a fun movie that I love, and that is The Princess and the Frog. I love this movie. I always talk about underrated films in Disney's catalog, and I feel like this movie is constantly slept on, and I don't know why. The music in this movie is absolutely incredible. I love the animation in this film. I love the way that it so authentically captures New Orleans in this time period, and it's just a really fun, simple story that's executed really well. And I'm so glad that we have a movie with a black princess, and Tiana is such a great character, and she's written really well. She's super interesting. I love her story and how she wants to open this restaurant. And it's a movie that the first time I watched it, it really moved me. And the more that I've seen it over the years, I've grown to love it even more. So what are some films you'd recommend I check out for Black History Month? Let me know in the comments. I'm always looking to watch more films from black creators or that star predominantly black casts. I love black voices in cinema, and I wanted today to be able to mention some of those movies that I love a lot. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.